The last time West Virginia had a left-handed quarterback that could move like this, his name was Pat White. I ain't trying to say nothing, man, but we might have the next great one on our hands. Let's talk to him next.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, where we're doing a big today. I appreciate you guys for joining. It's been a long time coming for this one because, as you guys know, I've been standing on this business since day one. Since the transfer happened, I've been a Jaylen Henderson guy. And so it feels a little bit vindicated to get his first public interview since joining the West Virginia Mountaineers. And I'm excited for this, guys. Without any further ado, let's bring on the man who has been working extremely hard, dropping footage about his conquest to potentially win the starting job at West Virginia University. Jaylen Henderson, man, what's up?
What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing all right. Was that a decent enough intro?
No, that was real. Got me fired up, man.
I appreciate it, man. So,
Yes, sir.
Word on the street is you're in Texas getting some graduation ceremonies taken. Is that what's going on? Families there, Mother's Day?
Yes, sir, man. I just graduated yesterday.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure that's something that, and it's not over yet. You're still going for that master's, right?
Just you see it from WVU.
I see it right there. I love
Yeah.
I love that. I love that zip up, man. So, what's it like? Obviously, I think this is not only is it a literal step towards West Virginia, but literally physically you're in Texas taking that step, right? Like, does it feel like you're turning the page today and yesterday as a literal?
Yeah, no, it does. Coming up here to A&M is definitely a blessing. But that chapter is officially closed from graduating. That was the ceremony of everything and everything I did here. That's in the past now. So now I'm on the better things in the future, trying to get my master's from West Virginia, and then obviously focus on this season coming up at West Virginia. So grateful for Texas A&M, but that's in the past now. Now my focus is strictly West Virginia.
And guys, don't forget this episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by Monarch Money. If you want to take control of your finances with Monarch Money, use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your very first year. We're live on TikTok. We're live on X. We're live on YouTube. And we appreciate you guys for joining all three as we get through this interview with Jaylen. Make sure you chime in. Let us know how you're feeling about the situation. And listen, I got a lot to talk about here, man. I think, when you first committed, I wasn't sure what to expect. It was a lot of research I was doing. Obviously, your time at Fresno State, you're behind a really good quarterback in Jake Haener, who is still playing in the league right now.
Yeah.
And so, I was speaking to I think it was your father. You were 17 years old. So it wasn't like you were really mature enough to step on the field at that point in time yet. But Texas A&M saw some talent, and they were like, I want that. I personally think it says more about you that you didn't play a lot at Fresno State, and Texas A&M said, no, I still want that. Like, that just doesn't happen. Guys got to have film. They got to have stats. They got to have something to move up to the highest level, literally, at Texas A&M for the SEC. What was that process like for you?
Definitely a blessing that, Coach Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher, they found me out the portal. Like you said, I didn't have a lot of stats. Jake Haener was he was a real smart quarterback. He kind of, even though I didn't play, he kind of taught me the ins and outs of the game. So I just learned from him. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, just seeing how he prepares like a pro. And obviously he got drafted 4th round, still with the Saints right now. Like you said, with Derek Carr retiring and everything, he may win the job. So,
yeah.
when I went to A&M, like you said, they saw something in me. And when I got my shot, I ran with it.
Did you see that picture yesterday that was going around on social media of him?
Of Derek Carr?
No, it was of the 3 quarterbacks on the Saints now that are fighting for the job. One was of Jake Haener, and he was doing this. It was like this crazy photo of him. Like, it was too serious. Like they were back to pass. They were doing something, and it was Jay Kaner like in a crazy photo.
Yeah.
Like people were reposting it, like, "What is Jay Kaner doing here?" So I just thought that was the funniest thing because it was like not serious at all.
It was
But
crazy as he was one of the most serious guys I ever met. So seeing him take pictures like that, it shocked everybody. So
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So obviously your time at Texas A&M was. I know you want to turn the page from there, but just as far as your history goes, you almost 70% completion percentage, 715 yards, 6 touchdowns while you were there, 104 rushing yards, another 2 touchdowns. Pro Football Focus grade of 70. You were really good on your deep passes, over 50% while you were there. Against the blitz is where you were the best. 23 out of 30, 76.7%, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns on 40 dropbacks. So my thing is, when pressure comes in your face, you get quicker, you think quicker, you make better reactions. Try to transition that into this kind of offense that RICHROD runs that's go, go, go.
Yeah.
You think that's going to benefit the way you play quarterback?
Oh, for sure. Like you said, we have a fast-paced offense as everybody's seen before. So it kind of eliminates thinking. You just reacting and playing, and that's how I like to play football. Just react. We do all the thinking in practice. Do all the thinking watching film. So now you got to trust the training that the coaches, instilled in us, and that we've been working on our whole lives. So, that kind of helps me. And then against the blitz, I like our matchups with our guys, and someone's gonna be open. So that's how I think about it.
And the thing is you're literally picking up new pieces every single day.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's this been like from you signed early on in this class when it was like less than a dozen guys?
Yeah.
What's it been like to sit from on the sidelines kind of and see this thing swell up to 50, maybe 60? What is that like?
It's different. The guys we adding in definitely think they can contribute and help us win games. So just I can't wait to get with those guys and get to know their names, throw to the guys, the O linemen, the defensive guys we got. So I definitely think everybody that's coming in is gonna have the mindset to want to win, because that's the mindset our head coach has. And he wouldn't bring anybody in like that who's not on that same who's not thinking that same way.
Yeah, Coach Rodriguez actually talked about this in a couple different interviews, how much they vet players before they bring them in. Did you feel that vetting from them when they were looking at you? Did you feel like they were turning over every stone?
No, for sure. Definitely thought it was the perfect fit. I can't thank God enough for getting me in a program like this with a coach who's well known and who's won at the highest level before, and had West Virginia top of the top. So definitely am excited to play for Coach RICHROD this season, and he wants dogs. So everybody that he brings in, I know that we got some dogs for sure.
Absolutely, man. So obviously, I think when I look at this West Virginia squad, there's a couple of names on the staff that are really familiar, man. What's it been like to learn a little bit from Coach Pat White?
Man, it's crazy because growing up, I was a young kid, but growing up just watching that guy, he was electric. So just having him coach me and the rest of the guys, it's a kind of a surreal moment. He's played in the system, so it's not like just a coach that hasn't played in the system, and definitely take his coaching points and install into my game. So that's not a bad guy to learn from at all.
Does he bring a little bit of an NFL part to this now that he's had time in the league with the Chargers and things?
Yeah, so it's a good mix. He's played in the system, and then obviously went to the league a little bit, so he helps us with certain things for sure, like reads or IDing a mic or something like that. So he adds another element for sure.
And then another quarterback that played in the system is Coach Rod's son, right? And what does he bring to the table? Because we often hear about him. He's kind of the opposite of RICHROD. He's not as fiery. He's a little more cerebral. He's so what's it like learning from Coach Rod Jr.?
He knows the stuff, knows the game, and he's grown up in the system literally. So he knows it like the back of his hand, and I'm trying to get to that level where I know the ins and out of the system like him. He had 26 years. We don't got 26 years for me to do that. So
you got to learn it all in 1 year, man.
Yeah. No, we got it. But great guy to be around. Just a great coach, and just love learning from him and everything for sure.
Awesome, man. Let's go to break really quick, guys. I know what you guys want me to ask him. We'll get there after the break. Appreciate you guys for joining in. This is Locked On West Virginia. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, guys. We're talking about Monarch Money today because this is the video sponsor. And if you've ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, man. That's where Monarch Money comes in because they're your personal CFO, giving you full visibility over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your very first year. Hey, it's segment 2. Let's crack a do really quick because we're going to ask the big question here, man. I think a lot of people want to know what it's like being in a quarterback competition. Obviously, in my opinion, and I've said this, I believe in Jaylen Henderson as the starting quarterback for West Virginia this coming year. That's my personal opinion. I'm allowed to have that publicly, whether people like it or not, right? And that's just who I am. What's it like being in a competition? And obviously a lot of people love Nicco Marchiol as well. He's a great kid, so, and I'm sure you've probably gotten to be close to him. I don't know. Actually, that's a question I have on the back end of this too. When you're in a competition with somebody, do you have to can you be friends, or do you kind of have to keep that competitive edge there?
Obviously I didn't come here to be a backup, came here to win the job. I know he wants to win the job. But still, we still support each other. He makes a good play and cheering him on. I make a good play cheering each other on. That's how we're gonna get each other better. When he's on his A game, it's gonna force me to rise my game, and vice versa. So it's definitely been a healthy quarterback room, and I think we have one of the best rooms in the country. I'm not just saying that. I've been in some rooms, and Nicco, he's a great guy. My first day, I didn't have my car on campus yet. He actually gave me my ride home. So this shows the type of guy he is. But
yeah,
definitely excited. We all had a good spring, and going into fall camp, going to get each other better.
Yeah, just looking at it on the outside looking in, Nicco's been here for quite a few years, and some people could, you were the new transfer quarterback on the block. A lot of people would have said, screw that guy, I'm riding on past or whatever. So, that's not the kind of person he is, like you said. Picked you up and gave you the ride home. I think that does say a lot about him. And if you see him in any interview setting, he literally is one of the nicest people ever. Yeah. Like, he's a nice guy. So I'm not surprised to see that at all. I don't want to make this about other people, but I've heard some good things about Scotty Fox as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what Scotty Fox brings to the table in a few years, because I think he is an up and comer from what we hear as well. So that's like, you just to your point, great quarterback room. Mm-hmm. So you're coming in, obviously. What did you have any expectations? Because I think a lot of people from the outside, look at West Virginia as a small state, which it is. But man, we love our football. We love our sports. So when you came on a visit, when you saw it for the first time, did it meet or surpass your expectations as far as like the culture, the facilities, all that?
No, for one, the facilities are beautiful. Nice facilities, top of the notch. And like I said earlier, RICHROD, he really creates that family atmosphere. Like, he has a son on staff, and he doesn't just say that, he actually means it.
Right.
So he is a huge part in why I came to staff. I just felt like it was the place to be. And like you said, I did my research too. I know the fans, they love football, and I want to play in a place where they care about football. Having a bad record means something. Like, the record that was last season, that's last year. So our goal is to, win the Big 12 and go to the playoffs, win the whole thing. So that's why RICHROD coaches. That's why I'm playing. That's why the rest of the guys are playing, so we can win.
So I'm curious. I want to know, like, you've been at Fresno State, you've been at Texas A&M, you've been at West Virginia now. What's been the biggest lesson that you think you personally learned from your journey through all three of these programs?
never let your highs be too high, your lows be too low. You know, in
Mm,
college, it's gonna be some low moments, but you know, you gotta stay even keel about it and just regroup. You're not gonna win every rep. You know, just like life though, it's not gonna be, you know, all rainbows and just all happy all the time. So it's how you respond when things aren't going well. You got to respond well, and then when the things are going well for you, you got to stay humble about it. Stay, you know, keep putting that work in because the next guy that just lost is trying to get a win again. So that's what I learned, and you know, just to stay patient, believe God has a plan.
I love that, man. I love that. So the Big 12 landscape is shifting literally, it seems like every day, right? Cam
Yeah,
Rising's retired. You look
yeah,
around, Shadur Sanders is getting dropping so many rounds in the draft. Everybody wonders why.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of the Big 12 people interested in this conference. Are you excited about? Is there any? I mean, this is. I know as a player you're supposed to only think one game ahead, but have you looked at the schedule? Might there be a game in week 3 or somewhere along those lines you might be looking forward to?
Uh, Really, the whole schedule really. I know Pitt's a huge rivalry game, so definitely want to get that one. But every game, we try to win every game. I
Yeah.
know personally, my boy plays quarterback for Kansas, Jaylen Daniels.
Oh, okay.
So we've been
That's your
growing
boy.
up. Yeah, that's my guy. We working out since freshmen in high school and everything. So a lot of smack talk and everything going on when we play Kansas. So, but want to win every game on the schedule, man. Taking one game at a time.
I'm going to bring up a question from somebody in the down below here. I don't normally do it, but I thought this was too good to pass up, Jalen. Do you ever watch or study film with Pat White from back in the day?
Yes, sir. You know, the how he made quick decisions, and that's one thing that I want to translate. Just, you know, once you go full speed about the decision you make, and sometimes I'll sit with Pat and watch stuff and ask him questions to see what I can better my game or what he would have done in that situation. He'll tell me, and he's been a great source to have on the staff for sure. And you know, we as a whole quarterback room, we watched his stuff too. So
Awesome. Looks like we got 300 of you guys on TikTok. We got 200 of you guys over on X. We got over 100 on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like button and come over here to the YouTube channel after if you're watching it somewhere else. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you follow Jalen over on X. What is your X handle again?
underscore JMoney13 underscore.
Underscore JMoney13 underscore. So make sure you guys get over there and check him out as well. He posted some interesting tape. Were you on the blue field at
Yeah,
Boise?
no, that's
What?
my high school field.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
so you were in California then?
yeah,
Okay. That looks
yeah,
just like Boise's field, man. I thought you were at Boise State.
yeah.
I was like, what is going on here? Maybe because then you think like, well, players often will collaborate with other players across the
Mhm.
country and work out if they know them from high school or whatever. I
Yeah,
thought maybe that was it because you played at such a high level in Cali.
yeah,
So yeah, that's interesting, man. So Jalen Daniels. So
yeah.
did you say you were from high school?
Yes, sir. So
So he played in California as well with you?
yeah, so we grew up in the same area. We're both from LA, and
Wow.
yeah, we end up going to the same high school at first. We went to the same high
Oh,
school.
wow.
Yeah, so that was another interesting quarterback room. And then you
Yeah.
know,
What
he
the
left and
heck?
did his he left and did his thing, and now he's at Kansas balling. So happy for him for sure.
Are you surprised that he turned out to be as successful as he's been?
No, he's a hardworking guy, even since we was kids. Very hardworking guy, humble person. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Just it's been unfortunate his injury history. I see the
Yeah.
only thing, like it's literally like if you look at his career, the only black mark. Like, and the
Hmm.
thing is he's been like at times Heisman level per player.
Yeah.
So and like you've heard, if you let him hear him, I've listened to some of his press conference. Whatever Lance Leopold did whenever he showed up at Kansas changed the game for them. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at national championship coach like Les Miles, you look at any coach like there been, we had a Super Bowl winning coach that was there. Obviously, you go on back even before that. There have been several coaches try to pull that program out of the dump,
Mhm.
and Leopold walked in there and did it like it was nothing. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a special relationship, and Jalen Daniels has a lot to do with that. So
Yeah.
you got 2 years of eligibility left, and I understand that I mean, obviously, if you have a great year this year, maybe that's not the case. Maybe you enter the draft, but
Mhm.
just generally speaking, you've got 2 years left.
Yep.
Do you have some personal goals at West Virginia for both 2025 and maybe beyond?
Well, first I start the team goal, win the Big 12.
Boom.
That's the what we're putting out there, and then I want to. My goal is to be in Heisman talks. You know, when you're in Heisman talks,
Boom. There it is. That's
boosts the draft
hey,
status
that's
and
no
everything.
coincidence.
Hey, oh, I just seen the comment, Jennifer Heisman. Hey, that's what I'm shooting for personally. But we all do our job as a team, then everybody's gonna eat. And I know receivers, their goal is to get 1,000. That's like a receiver's benchmark. So if I help those guys get that, then we'll all be eating and I'll be successful. So
You media guys that are watching today, you've got a couple headlines now. Jaylen for Heisman. I'm just saying, he said it. So there's no reason you can't write about it now. And look, at the end of the day, I want a quarterback that wants to be in the Heisman talk. You know, somebody puts, and I don't mean to disparage anybody, but I am going to say this. Neil Brown was here before and was a great coach in a lot of ways, you know, for the program. But somebody put two videos up, you know, and it was like RICHROD saying, well, I want to play for the national championship. I think you can win the national championship of West Virginia. And it was Neil Brown saying, you know, something along the lines of, you know, you don't have to win the Big 12 at West Virginia or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like the opposite. And I just think this is a mentality shift, man. And we're grateful for it because you see it bleed through a player like yourself. I can't remember any time over the last 5 or 6 years when Neil Brown was here where players were saying, and there were players saying certain, you know, nice things, but the confidence has certainly come up quick. And you got to give it to the head man for that.
sure.
One more quick break, guys. Well, on the other end, we'll finish this conversation with Jaylen Henderson. Stick around, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you for joining in. I want to get to a couple fan questions before we jump out of here. I promised you guys that. So as you can in the comments, drop some questions for Jaylen if you got any, and I will absolutely read them out loud for you guys because I did promise. I mean, I got so many. I can't even count all the messages I got. So I know a lot of you guys were excited about this one, and I just want to thank you personally, man, because, you know, I know you hadn't done a public interview for anybody yet. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming on here and doing this for me. I don't know if you'd watched this channel before now, but I've very publicly been on, and I'm not trying to, like I said, disparage anybody, other player. I just personally had a personal belief in you. So, you know, it was nice to have you come on and talk with me, man.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you having me too. Allow me to introduce myself to the Mountaineer fans and everything. That's important. You
Yeah.
guys support us, so just want to show you guys that same support and everything too.
Ranger Buck says something that, you know, I'll just say this, you know, in my talks with your family, and I don't, this is just me reading between the lines a little bit. Seems like a whole family does this, puts God first. And Ranger Buck says, I'm glad he honors God first. Faith means everything. Do you want to talk publicly about your faith or would you rather keep that private?
No, I definitely give God the praise publicly for sure. And
Awesome,
that
man. I appreciate
starts with
that.
my dad. He instilled that to me as a young boy. So
That's a strong dude, man.
yes,
You
sir.
know, and very, very nice guy. Your family was nice to deal with during the process. So I just wanted to shout them out because they did an excellent job raising you.
Thank you.
And you know, I was talking to them, you know, during this process a little bit, and just, you know, it was so awesome to see the unity amongst I mean, it really was. I'm not just saying that. You know, like, you've got a great family. You're very lucky. So
Thank you.
I'm very glad to see that we've got players that have families like this at West Virginia. So, um, what are you working on? Where do you need to improve? You know, I think that's a question I had personally because you look on your film, you throw a great deep ball. Your intermediate game is really good. Your short game is really good. Like, honestly, although you don't have a million snaps at this level, on tape, man, you really translate well as a throwing quarterback. And then you look at yourself with the ball in your hands running the rock. You weave in and out of traffic well. You've got speed. I mean, what is it that you personally think you need to work on? Like, when you look at your game and say, okay, I might have a hole there.
Well, I think for starters, this spring, you know, obviously new system for everybody. We're just trying to get used to things.
Yeah.
So now going into fall camp and summer. Just really looking at those practices and, some decisions I could have made, try to make those even quicker. Just sharpen up all the tools that you mentioned. So just those things right there, getting the timing with guys. So I feel like that's what we really use the spring for, and now we're all going to put it together for fall camp and everything.
So I don't mean to keep bringing your dad back up, but I was asking him about Jimbo Fisher, and I was asking him about Coach Rod. And like it's funny how you kind of honed in on the kind of coach that works for you, maybe because I think they're similar guys in a lot of ways. They're obviously from West Virginia. Are there any similarities that you've been able to see between them?
On the field, they're both, hard-nosed guys and your stuff, but off the field, just good guys to talk to. They both put, God first and everything too, and that's probably why I gravitated towards them.
Awesome,
but
man.
on the field though, man, they're very intense, but that's the type of coach I wanna play for. It gets the best out of everybody.
Somebody on here saying your LSU post-game press conference was awesome. You said decision making can always be improved.
Yeah.
What's he talking about there?
We were winning that game. Feel like we should have won. Going against the Heisman, Jaden Daniels, and all that. And then I had a turnover late in the game, and I feel like if I didn't have that, we had opportunities to win, but that I never want to put my team in a situation like that. So I'd probably just say that. But it was an intense game, man. At LSU, felt like we should have won, but it is what it is. But it's a good learning experience. So that's why I said that in the post game interview.
Just a couple more questions here, Jaylen. So, do you think playing in the SEC? I mean, obviously, you ask anybody in the country, most people say SEC football is the best football. So, do you think that's prepared you to play in the Big 12? And do you think some people might underestimate the Big 12 too? Like, with that mentality, you think it's possible to underestimate the Big 12, thinking like coming from the SEC?
Yeah, for sure. There's dogs every conference. Some guys may have not been fortunate in high school and ended up at a lower school. You never know. But there's great players in every conference, Big 12, SEC, and I would say mainly the only difference would be probably the up front, the D linemen. We had
You hear
at
that?
A&M, we had 3 guys who went first through 3 rounds. We had one guy who had the best defensive end test in history, ran a 4.5 at 6'4", or whatever he weighed. It was Shamar Stewart, who got dropped to the Bengals.
Oh yeah. He was on the
freak.
freaks list. I remember.
But there's great D linemen in this conference too. But skill guys, everybody.
I heard a lot about Jamoy Robinson.
Yeah, yeah.
That boy can play, can he?
Yeah, nice.
And look, I told somebody, I said, I was watching some tape of the cut ups. Like I save every little cut up that the university put out. So they might not like me saying this, but if you look close enough, you can see Jamoy Robinson running past people all spring long. It's just the truth. So, I'm just saying. So, they've been very aggressive in the portal. And I was leading myself to some conclusions like, hey, maybe a couple dudes got their butts kicked in the spring and they thought, well, maybe we need to grab another lineman or something. I'm just kidding. But, so obviously this has been fun, man. I'm curious to know really quick before you go, do you have anything you want to say to the West Virginia fans or anything like that?
I just want to say, appreciate you guys. When I committed here, definitely felt the love from everybody, and every snap that you guys get from me is going to be 100%, no plays off. And we all trying to win, just trying to, get Mountaineer football back to where it was when RICHROD was here the first time. And that's what I got to say.
I think it's there for the taking for sure. You look what Arizona State did last year. It's like, kudos to them. I think Dillingham's a good coach and everything, but I just think that if he can replicate just even a little bit what he did the first time around, we're going to be all right. And I've had some guys that really evaluate tape, look at this class here recently and say, look, he maybe look a little bit different to some people. There might be a Division II guy here or an SCS guy there, but some of these guys are really, really good players no matter what level they're at. So I'm interested to see what this is going to look like at the end of the day. And it's going to be fun. Oh, I remember one other question I had for you. Yeah. How many blitzes does Zach Alley toss at you in practice?
I'm not gonna go into that, but He's a good defensive coordinator. He throws a lot of stuff, so that's I'm gonna keep it there.
Okay, that's
We
fair.
play mind games with each other for sure.
That's
me
hilarious,
and Coach.
man.
Yeah.
Coach Rod has mentioned in press conference a couple times, I could just get him to stop throwing so many blitzes at us. So I appreciate you guys for joining in on this. This has been fun. Jaylen, I appreciate you for joining. Sure. Make sure you guys check out Jaylen, like I said, over on his X page. Make sure you stay tuned in here to Locked On West Virginia. We'll have more players on in the future. And I really appreciate it, man. We'll be watching for you. Obviously, we'll be rooting for you. And look, maybe we can do this again in the future.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you, guys. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. Appreciate Jaylen, and we will see you guys on the next one. We're out of here.
Sure.